think I'm gonna go.
To...
Chachi.
It's not safe to go hiking around here by yourself.
Is this the only road?
Like if we drove through this area, we'd get there faster?
Las Arenas is not a place you want to find yourself.
So thank you very much for speaking to me, first of all. Very much appreciated.
No. Thank you for your time. And I'm really excited to talk about Quicksand. Oh my God, we're almost there.
No, so it's great. I mean, I just watched it yesterday. I watched it with my son, and we had a great time with it. I had trouble sleeping, kept dreaming about ants and snakes for some reason. But no, it was fantastic.
You don't want to know what it was like. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I do want to know, but I don't want to know at the same time. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, first of all, I mean, there are quite a few films that are these self-contained films, not very confined, claustrophobic, which are very dependent on the script, because it really needs a script that has plenty of twists and turns, and it's also very dependent on the two or three kind of main protagonists of the film. No, so what was it about this specific film that made you think, yeah, this would be the perfect claustrophobic, one set confined film that would really work in that confined setting?
Oh yeah. I think the pit was absolutely the perfect pit for you to feel in that way, because it was very tiny and we were next to each other for 5 weeks, for 12 hours per day.
In that pit for 5 weeks, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we were on our knees right next to each other, and I think that we were really generous with each other, because it was really difficult. Even if you are with your favorite person in front of you on your knees for 5 weeks, 12 hours a day, it is such a challenge. And I must say that after that, Alan Hoko is one of my favorite persons in the world, definitely. We really needed to be very generous with each other, and also I think it helped us a lot to get in the feel of what we really were supposed to interpret as an actors. Also, it was very difficult because so many other situations. It was freezing outside, freezing. People must tend to think that Colombia is warm the entire country, but it's definitely not. It depends on which city you are, and in this specific part of Colombia that is called La Calera, it is really cold. So out of the pit we were freezing, and inside the pit the water was supposed to be warmed, but anyways, when you have to go to the bathroom, then you were going to have an awful situation, not only to go out but to get in again. Yeah. But yeah, it helped us a lot to get in the feel of what we were supposed to be feeling actually as an actors.
Mm-hmm. And was the actual pit created in the middle of nowhere, or was some of it on a soundstage? Where did it all take place?
Kind of in the middle of nowhere, but they were looking for a forest, a very beautiful landscape like this one. But yeah, it was kind of a plastic pot, and inside the pot were this mud, and it was supposed to be really thick in order to give you the sense of the impossibility of movement, right? But sometimes it was kind of varying depending on the day and depending of the temperature of the water. So some days it was more thick than other days. So for some days you were supposed to act like if you were trapped, but you weren't that trapped. Like you had mobility. So it was really such a challenge to make it possible.
Mm-hmm. I mean, talking about that, you said that you couldn't really move. I mean, one of the privileges of actors is that they get to gesticulate, and that really kind of helps with the performance. But here it was exactly the opposite. You didn't have that benefit. So how did you approach that side of the acting?
I grew up performing in musical theater. So that's kind of my way to interact with my craft. But for this specific movie, that was a challenge, and that's why I was really interested about performing this character. So it's beautiful how you can just express with just your gestures in your face. And also it gives you the sense of being really deep in your feelings when you are kind of interpreting the character. So for me, it was the best experience ever because I really wanted to have this kind of challenge. As you can see myself, look at me. I'm always talking like this.
Speak with your hands, yeah.
So yeah,
I imagine it really gave you a chance to hone your skills now as an actress, no?
exactly, and to really feel the sense of being in that space, the sense of being a mother without their kids, the sense of being a doctor without having the possibility of being a doctor for 7 years because she was so deep into being a mother, having this feeling of being a wife but not able to be a wife because this guy is in the middle of so many different situations that we're going to, of course, understand during the film. But it was really challenging, but I think that was what I really enjoyed the most.
Mm-hmm. And what about, I mean, being in the water, being in that liquid that you were, how do you prepare your body for something like that? Because it's not normal for just to go to the swimming pool with the kids for like an hour. Your hands are all wrinkled like raisins. So how do you prepare yourself to submerge yourself in that liquid for the whole day for 5 weeks?
Stretching a little bit, and in the middle of the day I was like, Alan, I need to stretch my legs, could you please move a little bit to the right? Like, okay, but next I have to do it as well. So oh my god, but yeah, stretching a little bit, that's all you can do. But then when you grow up doing musical theater, you always have a body really able to the scene, no matter what the scene is going to be about. So I think that for that in specific, having that kind of training, it's been helpful for me, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, we can talk a little about the snake and things like that. That's not spoiling anything because it's in the trailer. How much of that was real and how much of it was not real? How much time did you spend face to face with an actual real life snake?
Howard, I grew up kind of in the middle of the jungle because my parents, both of them, are pilots. And
Right.
in Colombia, being a pilot of small airplanes, kind of the trips that they were always doing for life was transporting people from one side of the jungle to another one. So I kind of grew up in the middle of the jungle, having contact with these wild animals. So for me, it was super easy. Her name of the snake was La Lupe. And we were really friends. We became like the best friends ever. So it wasn't that difficult for me. But then, I don't know if you, in the trailer, we can see the ants, right?
I can't recall now. I don't remember. I know we can see the snake, but I can't remember the ants or not.
For me, it's more difficult to relate with the ants, for example, more than snakes.
But you actually used ants on set? Yeah.
Yes.
Really? My goodness.
Like here on my neck,
Yeah.
walking, all of them, and without the possibility of move. So yeah.
Well, so you were okay, and was Alan okay with the animals as well? Because I imagine he probably didn't get have as much previous time
Alan
spending with animals, no?
I have to say it. He's gonna kill me for saying this, but Alan was freaking out. He was like, okay, I don't like them that much. I think you're too brave doing that. I don't want to have it so close to me. No, I think it was very difficult for him, and I admire him so much because it is not easy anyways. I mean, you never know when the snake is going to react differently, and they're wild animals at the end of the day. So I know that it was really challenging for him as well.
Obviously, something that's very, very crucial to the whole film is the beginning of the film, where you both arrive, where you're going to be spending the next day or two in the jungle. And when you get there, there's obviously a lot of tension there. You show a lot of contempt towards Alan's character. Was that one of the first scenes that you filmed, or was that something that you filmed later on? How did you approach that? Because obviously there's a very kind of cold chemistry at the beginning. So did you do that at the very beginning when you kind of didn't really know each other as well, or did you save that to later on when you kind of knew the sensibilities that maybe you could touch on?
You know what? It was great that we had the chance to film this movie in a very chronological approach.
Mhm.
So I think it helps a lot. And because of the way that the story evolves as well, it was easy to do it that way, in that way. So yeah, at the beginning, we were doing all the car scenes, and then the hotel scenes, and then in the forest. But then in the forest, this is something that I think will be interesting for you. We were filming all these crazy situations, and I am invited to perform at the Oscars while doing the movie.
All right.
So because I was also representing my country when I was singing at the Oscars, I asked for permission. So I was, guys, can I just leave for 3 days? I just go perform at the Oscars and come back to the pit. Like, just because they are the Oscars, you are able to go. So imagine that situation, being in the middle of the mud and then go to perform at the Oscars with this beautiful dress like a princess, and then going back to the mud. It was really, really, really fun. But yeah, I appreciate that the team were that generous with me to be able to do it.
It's the Oscars. They couldn't say no, could they? Oh, that's great. That's a great story. Yeah. Uh-huh. So, I mean, anyone who's thinking of marriage counseling, would you advise them to go into quicksand territory and spend a few days with their husband or wife to patch things up again?
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? I think that this is, now that you're talking about the marriage and a couple getting into divorce and all this, it is very profound, the parallel that we do in between being actually synced, like physically synced, but at the same time, when you're getting into a divorce, you feel like you're trapped. You feel like you're synced. You feel like you're not able to talk. You're not able to react. You're not able to breathe sometimes. So this parallel was very beautiful to go deep on it. And with Alan, we were talking about all this. So it was kind of, as always, art is always a way to transform, to heal, to express how these kind of situations are really being a human being, right? Kind of going through these kind of situations. So yeah, it was very beautiful to go deep into this kind of message of the movie.
No, so I mean, it's a very powerful film. I was looking on, I think it was IMDb, and there was a comment underneath, and I think it was a woman. She was commenting that she was very grateful for the film because she'd gone through a very similar situation with a partner, and she said that this really helped her to kind of not just deal with it, but just kind of address and understand and take on board what she'd been going through. So yeah, it's been a really powerful film for at least one person. I'm sure many other people when it releases.
Exactly, and for women to be able sometimes to be in front of everything, you know what I mean, in front of being a mother, but in front of being a professional. She's a doctor, she's a surgeon, she's super smart, she's super capable of so many things, she's super brave, but at the same time to be good in all this kind of fields, it is not an easy task. Right? So it's beautiful as a woman to express how we women have to be on top of so many things at the same time.
Absolutely. Listen, I don't want to keep you too long. So just to finish off, then I was having a look about what you've got coming up in the future. And I think you have a couple more English speaking roles coming soon. No, I was reading that you've got one called Perfidious, and then is it a series called another film called 8 Confessions in Los Angeles? Is that right?
Second Chances.
Second Chances. That's
Second
right.
Chances is the series.
That's the series.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yes, I'm very happy that I'm having this possibility of open this new market and to to have the chance to be able to express myself and to give my craft to this new kind of industry that offers so much, and that I have the chance to explore different characters as well in this language that is not my native language.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. I wish you the best of luck with the future projects.
Yeah,
Congratulations on the film again, and I hope to
you
speak to you
so
again
much.
sometime soon.
Please, I'll be here. Thanks always.
Mucho gusto. Muchas gracias.
Mucho gusto. Enjoy the movie.
Hasta la
Mwah.
próxima.
Thanks,
Lo
Helen.
mismo.
Ciao, ciao.
Adiós.
Josh! It's right there. You have to trust me. We're gonna get out of this.
No one's coming for us.
You don't get to decide.